I don't see how President Obama can make a decision about the committing of our additional forces or even the further fulfillment of our mission that's here today without an adequate government in place or knowledge about what that government's going to be.
Obviously, what I think Senator Kerry was pointing to, which is absolutely correct, which is the essential part of the strategy, and a key component or leg on the stool, is an Afghan partner that is ready to take control of both the security situation in Afghanistan and the civilian side of that.
Well, now we're back. That was John Kerry and Rahm Emanuel on the Sunday shows. Does President Obama's decision on troops, increasing the number of troops in Afghanistan, depend on getting their act together over there? The government in Kabul. Time for the politics fix with Newsweek's Howard Fineman, who's an MSNBC political analyst, and the Salon.com's editor-in-chief, Joan Walsh. Howard, and then Joan, here's the question. I wonder if we've gotten the cart before the horse here. Back in the Iraq days, the surge was based on the idea if we give them security, they will have time to put their politics together. Now, in this case, Kerry and Rahm Emanuel, after him yesterday, are saying, no, if they get their act together politically over there, we'll give them security. It doesn't seem to make sense logically, this strategy of telling them to get their politics in order, and then we'll protect them, rather than the other way around. Your thoughts, Howard?
Well, they have a particular problem in Afghanistan, Chris, which is the election there was widely seen as a fraud. And they're now throwing out 500,000 votes, and there's talk that there will be a quick snap election there because the administration needs to have a marginally credible government that they can deal with, whatever the cart or the horse is, wherever their cart or the horse is going to be. And right now, that government is widely seen in the world as not to exist, whereas in Iraq, it was our government, and it was credible to that extent.
Okay, let me go to Joan. Is there any way in the world that that government can get its act together and meet the standards of legitimacy in time for us to decide to give them more troops? Or is this now a reason, simply a permanent reason for not sending more troops?
I don't think it's a permanent reason. I think we will get some kind of clarity in the next few days, Chris. But I agree with Howard. I don't think it's possible to come up with a strategy that shores up a government and also comes along with an exit strategy, because exit strategies are very important to Americans. Right now, Karzai has still not accepted the ruling of the a UN-backed investigative group that found fraud. So it's not clear if there'll be an election. And there's also talk that perhaps he would share power with Abdullah, his foe. I'm not sure that it'd be great if that could come together. That's very difficult. And so would we be looking at a civil war? Would we be we don't know what we'd be looking at. We don't know what we're fighting if we don't know who's running the government.
Howard, here's something that scares me. I'm worried about the fall of the Pakistan government. I'm worried about the nuclear weapons. I'm worried about if we pull out of Afghanistan, the cards fall apart down there. The West looks like it's splitting, and we lose Zardari's government. Pakistan falls, the Taliban takes over, and hell breaks loose. And we got nuclear weapons in the hands of crazies. I worry about that. But I also worry about this guy, McChrystal, General McChrystal. As I understand his strategy, based on that very beautiful article by the New York Times Magazine yesterday, he wants to embed American troops out there in the countryside and basically play defense. In other words, put a bunch of our guys and women out there in the boonies, way out beyond Kabul, all over the place, spread out all over the place, waiting for the Taliban to come and attack and then jumping them. My God, what a position to put our kids into, to be sitting in these villages waiting for these bad guys to come in at night and attack them and kill them when they're exposed like it's in the French Foreign Legion. Your thoughts, is that the strategy?
Well, I think talking to some military people, both current and former, that seems to be where we're headed. The president has already said that he's not going to have a precipitous withdrawal regardless. You know, he's taken that off the table. He's negotiating with himself here. He said, you know, we're not going to withdraw troops. It's a question of whether we're going to add some, and if so, how many. That indicates to me that he's headed precisely toward that strategy. In warfare like this, there are three options. You know, either you go in to win it big time with an overwhelming number of troops, you know, you fire a few shots and leave, or you hunker down and take fire. And that looks like where we're headed, according to the military people I talked to.
Oh, God, I'm scared. Anyway, thank you, Howard. We'll be right back with you and Joan Walsh to talk about something on the home front. We can better understand the battle between this White House and Fox News. You're watching Hardball, only on MSNBC. We're back with Howard and Joan for this little kerfuffle going on, and maybe it's organized more than a kerfuffle. Joan, bottom line, we don't have much time. Think about the bottom line. Is this White House wise, shrewd, Machiavellian to engage in an open feud with Fox News?
I think they felt they had to do it. They wanted to make clear to the world that this is not a news organization. It's a propaganda organization. They've been promoting the Tea Parties to the point of sponsorship. It's been really irresponsible. It's not driven by a news agenda. And I think they felt like nobody else was really adequately getting that point across, and they would take a shot. I don't know how it's going to end. It's not over yet. It's still very interesting to me.
Howard, in politics, the incumbent begins to attack the challenger. When the challenger gets above a certain percentage, it begins to threaten his incumbency. Has the White House become to act like Crocker Jarman taking on the, taking on the challenger in that famous movie?
Well, they seem to have an instinct for the capillaries here. I mean, I thought Barack Obama said that cable news was just a bunch of chatter and nobody should listen to cable news. So he said that one day. The next day, his White House is attacking Fox. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, I understand.
Howard, you are a print guy. You know how I say it, how I know it, and how smart you are. Print guys have file cabinets. You have a memory. That's what separates you from a lot of TV people. You just remembered something. You have a file cabinet. You remember that he once said, what, 3 months ago, that cable doesn't matter? Now he's saying, send every one of my Roman legions against them. Send Anita Dunn, everybody against them.
But I remember the Bush administration going after the New York Times. George W. Bush in his 2004 acceptance speech trashing the Times. I remember John McCain coming after MSNBC last summer. So this is not a new thing. It's not that the Obama administration just invented this strategy. So it's interesting.
It is very. We'll talk about it again, I'm sure. Thank you so much, Joan. Thank you, Howard. I put the hat on. Fourth game. Maybe there'll be 3-1 after tonight. Join us again tomorrow night at 5 and 7 Eastern for more Hardball.